Here's something most people don't realize. If you retire at 65, there's a good chance you'll spend just as many years retired as you did working. That means your money has to cover not just the basics, housing, food, and medical bills, but also the joys you've been dreaming of, like traveling, hobbies, or helping your family. But here's the shocking truth. Many retirees run out of savings in only 12 years. Picture this, you're 77, still full of energy, but your nest egg is gone. That's a nightmare no one wants to face. The good news? You don't need Wall Street secrets or risky bets to avoid it. With the right approach, your money can continue to grow and even pay you back throughout retirement. In this video, I'll share 7 surprisingly simple ways to invest your money so it works for you, protects your future, and lets you enjoy retirement with confidence. Stick around, you won't want to miss what's coming. Meet Oswald. He's 68 years old and recently retired after more than 4 decades as a history teacher. Like many people his age, Oswald entered retirement with a mix of relief and optimism. He had worked hard, lived responsibly, and built a modest nest egg. Retirement, he believed, would finally allow him to slow down, spend more time with his family, and enjoy the peace he had earned. But it didn't take long for reality to sink in. Rising living costs, healthcare expenses, and the steady creep of inflation began to take a noticeable toll on his savings. What once seemed like a secure financial cushion suddenly felt less certain. Oswald realized that retirement wasn't simply about having money saved, it was about making that money last and, ideally, helping it continue to grow. Rather than panic or make hasty choices, Oswald approached the challenge with the same steady mindset he had applied throughout his career. He didn't chase trends or risky investments. Instead, he searched for practical, reliable ways to make his money work for him, ensuring that his retirement years would be marked not by worry, but by stability and fulfillment. Oswald's experience is not unusual. It reflects what many retirees face today, the need to protect what they've earned, while still giving themselves the freedom to enjoy life. His story serves as a reminder that with the right strategies, retirement can remain a time of independence and dignity. And the steps he followed, the very ones we'll explore here, can help anyone in the same position. Simple way number 1. Safety first with high-yield savings and CDs. When people think of investing, their minds often jump to the stock market, real estate, or other strategies that carry a sense of excitement. But in retirement, the wisest moves are often the simplest and the safest. After decades of hard work, your savings should be treated with care. You're no longer in a season of life where taking big risks makes sense. At this stage, safety and stability matter just as much as growth. That's why high-yield savings accounts and certificates of deposit, CDs, deserve a place in every retiree's plan. Unlike traditional bank accounts that often pay next to nothing in interest, high-yield savings accounts give your money the chance to grow quietly in the background. Many retirees don't realize that the difference between earning 0.05% and earning 3% or 4% can add up to hundreds, even thousands of dollars a year, without lifting a finger. It's money that comes in steadily, without risk, and without stress. This was one of the first changes Oswald made when he reviewed his finances after retirement. For years, he had kept a large portion of his savings at the same old bank he'd always used. It felt comfortable and familiar, but comfort can sometimes come at a cost. Month after month, his account earned so little interest that it hardly made a difference. When he finally compared it to what was available through a high-yield savings account, the gap was startling. By moving his money, he was suddenly earning more than 10 times what he had been before. That shift didn't require complicated planning or risky choices, just the decision to put his savings in a place where it worked harder for him. CDs offer another layer of stability. With a CD, you commit your money for a set period of time, such as 6 months, 1 year, or even longer. In return, you lock in a guaranteed interest rate. For retirees, this means dependable growth and the comfort of knowing exactly how much interest they'll earn. Oswald found this especially useful for funds he didn't need right away. By laddering his CDs, placing them in different time periods, he created a steady rhythm of payouts that aligned with his living expenses. It gave him a sense of structure and confidence, knowing that part of his money was protected and earning a fixed return. High-yield savings accounts and CDs won't make you rich overnight, and that's the point. Their role is to provide stability, preserve what you've built, and create reliable income that supplements your retirement lifestyle. They give retirees the ability to enjoy life's simple pleasures, without worrying that their money is disappearing faster than it's replenishing. Now let me ask you, do you know how much your savings account is paying you in interest right now? Many people are surprised when they check. It's often far less than they think. Type your answer in the comments. You might be shocked at the difference, and sharing your experience could encourage someone else to take action today. Simple way number 2, dividends that pay you. One of the most practical ways to create income in retirement is through dividend-paying investments. Unlike savings accounts or CDs that simply grow slowly in the background, dividend stocks and dividend-focused ETFs actually pay you a stream of cash, often every 3 months, just for being an owner. Think of it as turning your savings into a personal paycheck system. Dividends are portions of a company's profits that are distributed to shareholders. Large, established companies, such as those in utilities, consumer goods, or healthcare, are known for paying consistent dividends. These aren't flashy tech startups or risky ventures. These are the steady, reliable businesses that people depend on every single day. For retirees, that reliability matters. Oswald was initially cautious about stocks. He had always thought of the market as unpredictable, maybe even too risky for someone in retirement. But when he learned about dividend-paying companies, his perspective changed. Instead of focusing on short-term price swings, he began to look at the steady flow of income dividends could provide. He started with utility stocks, companies that literally keep the lights on. These businesses aren't glamorous, but they're essential, and that stability is reflected in their ability to pay regular dividends year after year. To simplify things further, Oswald also invested in dividend-focused ETFs. These funds pool together dozens or even hundreds of dividend-paying companies into one basket, reducing the risk of relying on any single business. The beauty of an ETF is that it spreads your investment across multiple industries, giving you diversity and a smoother ride. For Oswald, this meant less stress and more confidence, knowing his income wasn't tied to the fate of just one company. The key advantage here is the combination of income and growth. While dividends provide regular cash payments, the underlying stocks or ETFs can still appreciate in value over time. That means your money continues to grow, even while paying you. It's like enjoying the fruit from a tree while the tree itself gets bigger every year. For retirees, dividend investing is not about chasing the highest possible yields. It's about choosing stability, companies or funds with a long track record of paying and even increasing their dividends over time. This balance ensures that your income stream is sustainable and your savings continue to work for you well into the future. So let me ask you, have you ever thought of dividends as a way to create your own retirement paycheck? It's an approach many overlook, yet it can transform the way you think about investing. Share your thoughts in the comments below. And stay tuned, because the next idea is one that most retirees never even consider, but it could open up surprising opportunities. Simple way number 3, real estate without the headache. Real estate has always been considered one of the most reliable ways to build wealth. People like the idea of owning property, collecting rent, and watching values rise over time. But for many retirees, the thought of being a landlord comes with a long list of headaches: fixing leaky toilets at midnight, dealing with tenants who don't pay on time, and managing constant repairs or legal issues. At this stage of life, you don't want another full-time job, you want your investments to work quietly for you. That's where real estate investment trusts, or REITs, come in. A REIT is a company that owns, operates, or finances income-producing properties. Instead of you personally buying an apartment building or shopping center, the REIT does it for you. When you invest in a REIT, you essentially own a small piece of those properties. Best of all, by law, most REITs are required to distribute at least 90% of their taxable income to shareholders in the form of dividends. That means a steady income stream, without the hassle of being a landlord. This was a game changer for Oswald. He had always admired the idea of real estate but knew he didn't want to spend his retirement chasing down tenants or replacing broken appliances. By investing in REITs, he gained exposure to everything from commercial office buildings to residential housing and even healthcare facilities, all without lifting a hammer. It gave him the satisfaction of knowing he was part of an industry that generates consistent cash flow, but without the stress of managing it himself. REITs also offer accessibility. You don't need hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy a property. With REITs, you can invest with much smaller amounts, just like you would with stocks or ETFs. And because many REITs are publicly traded, they can be bought and sold easily, giving you more flexibility than traditional property ownership. This combination of income, diversification, and liquidity makes them especially appealing for retirees who want both stability and freedom. For Oswald, REITs became a reliable part of his retirement portfolio. The dividends provided regular income, while the diversification helped spread his risk across multiple property types and geographic locations. Instead of tying his future to one rental home, he was participating in large-scale real estate investments across the country. So here's a question for you. Would you rather be a landlord, chasing rent payments and dealing with repairs, or would you prefer to get paid like one without the work? Comment below and share your thoughts. For many retirees, REITs offer the best of both worlds, the benefits of real estate, without the burdens of direct ownership. Simple way number 4, bonds that build stability. There's something comforting about the word bonds. For many of us, it brings back memories of our parents or grandparents talking about war bonds or savings bonds tucked away in a safe deposit box. Back then, bonds were seen as one of the most trustworthy ways to protect money. And here's the truth, even today, they remain one of the most reliable tools for retirees who want stability, predictable income, and peace of mind. Bonds are essentially loans you give to governments or corporations. In return, they promise to pay you interest at regular intervals, and then repay your original investment when the bond matures. It's not about quick growth or chasing high returns, it's about steadiness, which is exactly what many retirees need. Oswald remembered how his father used to talk about treasury bonds. At the time, Oswald didn't pay much attention. But now, in retirement, he realized why his father valued them so much. Treasury bonds, backed by the U.S. government, are about as safe as it gets. They may not deliver eye-popping returns, but they provide security, and when you're living off your savings, that's priceless. He also discovered municipal bonds, often called munis. These are issued by states, cities, or local governments to fund schools, hospitals, and community projects. The best part? Many municipal bonds offer interest that's tax-free, which means retirees get to keep more of the income they generate. For someone on a fixed income, that extra efficiency can make a meaningful difference. Oswald appreciated how bonds gave his portfolio balance. His dividend stocks and REITs provided growth and income, but bonds acted as the anchor. When the stock market dipped or headlines created panic, he could count on the steady payments from his bonds. It was like having a calm, reliable friend in the middle of life's financial storms. And here's another important point, bonds can be tailored to your needs. Some retirees prefer shorter-term bonds, which give quicker access to their money. Others lock into longer-term bonds to secure a fixed interest rate for years. The flexibility allows you to match your investments with your comfort level and future plans. So while bonds may sound old-fashioned, sometimes the old ways are the smartest. They still provide what retirees value most: safety, predictability, and a reliable stream of income. Do you remember your parents or grandparents ever talking about bonds? Maybe they even gave you one as a gift when you were young. Share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear how bonds have touched your life. And stay with me because the next strategy is one that many retirees overlook, but it could open doors to income you might never have considered. Simple way number 5, annuities for lifetime paychecks. One of the biggest fears many retirees carry quietly is this: what if I outlive my money? Unlike your working years, retirement doesn't come with a paycheck unless you create one. That's where annuities come into play. They're designed to provide something many retirees desperately crave: guaranteed income for life. An annuity is essentially a contract with an insurance company. You invest a portion of your retirement savings, and in exchange, the company promises to send you regular payments for a set period, or even for the rest of your life. It's like turning part of your nest egg into a personal pension. While annuities come in different types, immediate, deferred, fixed, or variable, the underlying goal is the same: to give you financial stability that won't vanish no matter how long you live. For Oswald, this was the strategy that lifted a huge weight off his shoulders. After years of watching his savings carefully, he wanted the comfort of knowing he wouldn't have to constantly worry about budgeting down to the last penny in his 80s or 90s. By putting a slice of his retirement funds into a fixed annuity, he secured a guaranteed retirement paycheck. That certainty gave him the freedom to finally book that dream trip to Italy with his wife, a trip he had been postponing for years out of fear that spending too much too soon would leave him vulnerable later. There's also an emotional benefit here that's easy to overlook. Retirees often struggle with the anxiety of dipping into their savings, unsure of how much they can safely spend. Annuities take away that guesswork. When you know a check is coming every month, no matter what, it removes a lot of the stress around day-to-day expenses. It can also complement other income sources like Social Security or pensions, creating a more stable financial foundation. Of course, annuities aren't perfect for everyone. They can be complex, and the terms vary depending on the provider. That's why it's essential to read the fine print and understand exactly what you're committing to. But for many, like Oswald, they offer a sense of security that's hard to replicate with any other investment. Think of it this way: while stocks, bonds, and real estate can provide income and growth, none of them can guarantee payments for as long as you live. Annuities fill that gap. They answer the question, what happens if I live to 95 or even 100? So let me ask you, would you trade a portion of your savings for a guaranteed paycheck that lasts your entire life? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't go anywhere, because the next strategy is the one that even shocked Oswald's financial advisor, and it might surprise you too. Simple way number 6, peer-to-peer and alternative lending. When most people think of investing, they imagine the stock market, bonds, or maybe real estate. But one of the lesser-known options available today is peer-to-peer lending and other forms of alternative lending. This is where you act almost like the bank, loaning your money to individuals or small businesses through trusted platforms, and in return, you earn interest on those loans. It's not the most common retirement strategy, but for those who use it wisely, it can add both diversity and a sense of personal fulfillment to their portfolio. Here's why it's unique. Instead of handing your money to a giant corporation, you're often supporting real people or small businesses. Oswald, for instance, decided to put just a small slice of his savings into a peer-to-peer lending platform. At first, he was hesitant. It felt unfamiliar compared to the traditional investments he had always known. But the more he learned, the more he appreciated the idea. His money wasn't just sitting in an account. It was actively helping entrepreneurs launch their dreams, families consolidate debt at lower interest rates, and communities thrive. And in exchange, Oswald received steady interest payments. What appealed to him most was the personal aspect. Unlike buying a stock, where the connection to the company feels distant, peer-to-peer lending made his investments feel tangible. He could see exactly who his money was helping, and that added an emotional satisfaction that traditional investments rarely offer. For Oswald, it wasn't just about the returns, it was about being part of someone else's success story, while still earning income for his retirement. Now, it's important to mention that peer-to-peer lending does carry more risk than savings accounts or government bonds. Not every borrower will repay their loan, which is why diversification is crucial. The smart approach, like Oswald's, is to spread your money across many different loans instead of putting a large sum into one. That way, even if one borrower defaults, the impact on your overall portfolio is limited. Alternative lending platforms have made this process more accessible than ever, allowing retirees to get involved with relatively small amounts of money. Some platforms even let you choose specific categories of borrowers, like small businesses, medical expenses, or green energy projects, so you can align your investments with causes that matter to you. For retirees looking for both income and a sense of purpose, peer-to-peer lending can be a meaningful addition to the mix. It offers the potential for higher returns than traditional savings, while also giving you the satisfaction of knowing your money is doing more than just sitting idle. So here's a thought. Would you rather your money simply grow quietly in the background, or would you like it to actively support someone else's journey while still paying you interest? Share your thoughts in the comments. And don't go anywhere, because the final strategy is one of the most powerful, and it just might change how you think about retirement investing altogether. Simple way number 7, balanced portfolio with index funds. When it comes to investing in retirement, sometimes the smartest path isn't about chasing the hottest stock or the most complex strategy. It's about keeping things simple, steady, and reliable. That's exactly what broad index funds provide. They offer retirees an easy way to own a slice of the entire market without the stress of trying to predict which individual company will rise or fall. An index fund is like a giant basket that holds shares of hundreds, or even thousands, of companies. Instead of betting your future on a single business, you spread your money across an entire market index, like the S&P 500. That means when the economy grows, your investment grows with it. It's diversification in its purest, simplest form. Oswald found this approach refreshing. After exploring dividend stocks, REITs, bonds, and even peer-to-peer lending, he wanted a foundation that tied everything together. For him, index funds became that cornerstone. He liked the visualization. It felt like he was buying a tiny piece of every major company in America, from technology giants and healthcare providers to banks and grocery chains. Without needing to study financial reports or predict market trends, he instantly owned a broad, balanced slice of the economy. What Oswald appreciated most was the simplicity. Index funds don't require constant monitoring or decision-making. They quietly track the performance of the market and deliver returns that, over time, tend to beat most investors who try to outsmart the system by picking individual stocks. For a retiree, this meant more time enjoying life and less time stressing over financial news. Another advantage is cost. Many index funds have very low fees compared to actively managed funds. That means more of your money stays invested and working for you, instead of being eaten away by management expenses. Over the course of retirement, that difference can add up to tens of thousands of dollars saved. For Oswald, index funds became his way of building balance. His high-yield savings and bonds provided safety, dividends and REITs gave him income, but index funds gave him growth and long-term stability. They were the glue that held his portfolio together, ensuring he wasn't leaning too heavily on any one strategy. Here's something to reflect on. Do you prefer the simplicity of owning a broad index fund, or do you enjoy the thrill of picking individual stocks? There's no wrong answer, but I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. By choosing index funds, retirees like Oswald can sleep better at night, knowing they don't need to constantly guess where the market is headed. Instead, they quietly grow alongside the economy itself. A simple, balanced strategy that keeps retirement steady and stress-free. When we were first introduced to Oswald, he was a 68-year-old retired teacher facing the same uncertainty that many retirees quietly carry. Despite years of disciplined saving, he quickly realized that inflation, healthcare expenses, and longer lifespans meant his nest egg might not stretch as far as he had hoped. The question weighed heavily on him. Would his money last as long as he did? That worry colored every decision, from whether to plan a family trip to whether he could afford small indulgences. But Oswald's story is not one of fear, it is one of transformation. By thoughtfully applying 7 time-tested strategies, he redefined what retirement could look like. High-yield savings and CDs provided him with a secure foundation. Dividend stocks and ETFs created a dependable stream of income. REITs gave him access to the strength of real estate without the burdens of property management. Bonds anchored his portfolio with stability and predictability. Annuities added the reassurance of lifetime income. Peer-to-peer lending gave him both diversification and a sense of contributing to others' success. Finally, broad index funds tied his plan together, delivering growth with simplicity and efficiency. The impact was profound. Oswald moved from cautious budgeting and quiet worry to living retirement with confidence. Instead of seeing his savings as something fragile, he began to view it as a well-designed system that supported his life. He no longer avoided family vacations out of fear. He funded them with joy, knowing he could afford both experiences and security. He no longer felt anxious about running out, but instead focused on creating memories, building legacy, and enjoying the freedom he had earned. This transformation is not unique to Oswald. It is a path available to anyone who approaches retirement with wisdom and preparation. Retirement does not have to be a time of financial strain. With the right strategies, it can be a period of independence, fulfillment, and peace of mind. If these insights resonated with you, I encourage you to take the next step. Click the like button and share this video with someone you care about who is approaching retirement. You may give them the gift of security and hope. And be sure to subscribe to Retirement Lifestyle Hub for more professional guidance on how to live well, live confidently, and live richly in retirement, without the stress.